call, everybody. It's a great Wednesday in Salt Lake City. It feels like springtime outside. I keep waiting for the snow to fly, and I wish it would come sooner than later to fill up those lakes and have a great ski season. So here we are. It's November, session 9. Can you believe this is already session 9? Our time has gone so fast together, and I appreciate this group because there's been so much great interaction and so many great people that have been involved with me through the summer as you've been building your business. And I know that you've had a lot of great success, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's talk for just a second about our last week's session. You know, last week we talked about building your pre-appointment package and sending out that prior to a listing. And I want to focus on that for just a second because the more we're using a pre-appointment package, the higher our response has been. How many of you are actually using a pre-appointment package now? Who started using it? Just show me by the raise of hands. Okay, good. All right, Bruce, good. Hey, Bruce, let me unmute you. Tell me how things are. Hey, Bruce, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
I love that. Tell me about your pre-list. How you've used it now on a few listing appointments, and how's it going?
Really good. I really like it. It helps my client to know me better as a person. It helps them to know that I'm a professional. But yeah, I really like it.
And how's your conversion been?
Not so good.
All right. So now we got to work on. You know, I want to hear from you. When you go on a listing presentation and you don't list it, I want to know. I want you to send me an email and give me the objections that they use, and let's dialogue it, and let's overcome that. Because if you're getting the at bat, I expect you to be able to list it. And if you're not, then that means something happened during the time you got the appointment and what happened during the presentation. And I believe that it's just a matter of fixing a process.
Okay, great.
Okay. By the way, what's your biggest objection? Tell me what you're hearing.
Probably that they know someone else that's a real estate agent that they will book with or list with.
And why did they have you come in the first place?
Just interviewing agents.
And what are they hoping the other agent is able to do that you weren't able to show them?
I'm not sure. I think it's just that they know someone, a family member or someone that they've known for quite some time.
Everybody knows a realtor that they've known for quite some time, and there was a reason they just didn't call them up and list with them.
Right. Yeah,
Either,
I agree.
you know what I mean? Either the agent isn't professional, they're part-time. Have you ever done business with a really close friend or family member and had it not work out?
I haven't, no.
That's because you're exceptional. Most people have, and they have great war stories on that. When someone has another agent, I'm going to ask them before going in if they're going to be interviewing other agents, and if they say, yeah, I say, who are you talking to? And I'm going to go look up that agent's productivity and their stats and know what my competition is, and then I'm going to do a really good job of positioning myself to show what I have that's exceptional and different. I never throw another agent under the bus, but I always look at where they are and what I am, and then I use those as a differentiator. So know your competition going in and have good dialogue for overcoming that we have a friend. And then you just got to blow them away. You know, you show your photography, you show your virtual tour, you show the marketing, the Zillow, the Trulia, how it goes to all the websites, all your follow-up systems and processes, and that'll make a big difference as you get them. And you can get them, Bruce. We just need to work through your dialogue.
Okay,
and I think
great.
today's going to help that. Who else is doing a pre-list? Let's see who else got their hand up. Jordan, good. Jordan and Kelly, tell me about your pre-list. How's it going with you guys?
Pretty good. We kind of what we talked about last time. We presented the listing packet to our clients in front of them, so we just need to make sure that we're doing it previous to meeting them.
Have you had a chance to do that yet?
No, yeah, I have an opportunity to meet this one referral here probably next week, and we're going to have all that ready. We'll send it to her before we meet. She had a bad experience with an agent not too long ago, so we're going to do our best to send her that pre-listing package to kind of change her mind on that.
Yeah, you definitely want to do you want to do it consistently with every single appointment, and you'll continue to tweak it and make it better. Make sure you have your seller's homework in there, and then watch what happens. You walk to the house, you've got her seller's homework done. It's just a matter of, it's like taking candy from children. If they aren't doing their seller's homework and you're not stressing that, then it opens the door to objections that aren't going to close. So be really strong on the seller's homework. That's a critical component to the pre-listing package.
All right, thanks.
All right. Okay, good. All right, so let's jump into, we're going to talk about listings today. And so since listing is a big target for everybody, I want to talk about the paperless listing. In the last session, we talked about the pre-list. Top agents around the country all understand the power of a great listing presentation. Today, I'm going to discuss with you what needs to be included and how to truly go paperless. Okay? The first thing is I need you to focus and really become great salespeople. We are in sales. You've heard me say it once. You'll hear me say it 1,000 times. Never stop learning or studying sales. Understand personality types. Learn how to adjust your style to fit the style of the person you're selling to. Understand generational selling, negotiation, marketing, and read some of these following books. The one I've been reading a lot, and then I've gone through it 2 or 3 times, is Og Mandino's Greatest Salesman in the World. I continue to read that, and I continue to get inspired by it. It makes me want to just go out there and kill it from a sales perspective. So add that to the arsenal of books that you read. The next thing is make sure that you're a freaking sales animal. Your client needs to know you are not like anybody else. When you go in to compete, we like to put on this, I'm a professional realtor, I take care of my clients, I'm going to do a really good job for you. I think all those things are great, but you got to go in there and be different, and you got to have passion. You got to say, look, here's why you hire me. I'm armed to the teeth with technology, and I'm a freaking sales animal. Anyone that inquires on your property, I am going to follow up with them until they buy or tell me to die. Or you can call your friend that's a realtor and hope that they can do a good job for a little bit less money. The bottom line is you want your house sold in the shortest amount of time by someone who knows how to negotiate a deal. And you can tell by my enthusiasm, my ability to close, that I'm the right person. So why don't we just get under contract, and I'll call your friends and tell them that you don't need to come over and give you an estimate on the property. I've given them live information on the MLS. They know I'm a sales animal. I'm there to list the property, stick the sign in the yard, shake their hand, and get it done. Okay, so understanding all of that, please know that sales is a process. It's a process that happens from the time the call comes in. We do our research. We ask the questions, why are you going to move? I do believe there's an anatomy to a sale, and there's a process that people go through. I'm going to give you a couple of things that happen to the anatomy of a listing sale real quick. The anatomy of the sale says that we first you do our research. We know who the client is. The second thing we do is we do a really good approach and greeting. The third thing we do is we do a needs probe. We find out what their wants, needs, and desires are. Why are they moving? What's the process? And then we go through a presentation. I want to know what their pain is before I ever do a presentation. Okay? And then once I understand their pain, then I do a presentation, and then I close. If they don't give me the right answers and they're not ready to go, then I reclose. I resolve their concerns, ask another closing question, and go on to the next thing. And then I follow up with them until they buy or tell me to die. And that's critical that you continue to do that. There's no rocket science to selling. What there is there's a process that we follow, and it's a sales process. So now you've got an appointment with a client, and we're talking about the listing presentation itself. 70% of our communication is nonverbal. It's in our voice fluctuation, it's in our attitude, it's in our smile. And so the way you greet the client and meet them matters. How should that first greeting look? What kind of emotion do you want them to feel as a result of engaging with you today? Greet them with enthusiasm, a good firm handshake. Look them in the eye. Hi, I'm Verl. It's nice to meet you. When you smile, it breaks down barriers, so a great smile. And be sincere and authentic. Address all the family members. If you're not good at remembering names, write names down and remember those names. And you got to dress for success. You have to look sharp. You can't go in jeans and flip-flops and think that it's okay. The next part of the presentation, when I meet the client, I get to know them a little bit. I say, take me through your house. I want to see your property. And during the time I'm walking through the house, this is the time where we build a relationship with trust. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat today. Building a relationship is how I get to know them. I look for things in their home, pictures on their walls, things that I have common interest in. I ask lots of questions. Oh, is this your family? I see you got pictures of the lake. You guys big Lake Powell family? Oh, yeah, we love that. Well, where's your boat? We get in a conversation like that. Or I see a picture of trophies in a trophy room. Wow, looks like you're quite a bowler. You know, how long you been bowling? You find something of interest to them, and you dwell on it. You find common ground, and you start to build the relationship. Mirror their body language. If they are not confident and they're kind of pull back a little bit, and talk at the speed that makes them comfortable. It's really important that you focus on them, not on you. If you walk in and it's all about you, they're going to realize that you have an agenda that is focused, that is a self-centered agenda, as opposed to being focused on the client. So I'm going to tell you, make sure you focus on them. You've heard of the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The problem with the golden rule is it's all about you, and nobody cares about you. I want you to practice the platinum rule. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. Put them in the middle of the conversation. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. The next thing is we have to shift. You have fun with me and you laugh when I say I'm a freaking sales animal and I'm armed to see with technology, and I know everybody smiles about that. I really do that, and I really am that. Now, understand that the greatest sell we make is the one where we sell ourselves, and they choose to do business with us. I never talk someone into selling their house that's not ready to sell, nor do I talk people into buying a home that's not the right for their family. We have to be true consultants, meaning that we have to really listen to what the clients or the family's needs are, and then we have to provide the most accurate solution. We have to be market experts. We have to be marketing professionals. We have to be completely web savvy. We've got to be specialists at generating leads, strong and fair negotiators. We have to become their real solution for everything about the transaction, and our focus needs to be on them. The better your questions, the more things you ask, if you're focused on them, the better they'll be. And then our presentation revolves around our research and the needs of their personality type. We have to understand what buyers want if we really want to win sellers. So the presentation, why go paperless? What's the point? What's the point of having a great paperless presentation? We've got to talk the talk. We have to walk the walk. We can't just talk about technology and then show up without it. When you take a paper CMA and you present it to the client for the first time at the listing, 100% of the time, when they want you to leave now without signing the listing agreement, what do they ask for? Hey, can I have a copy of that? Because we need to think about it. Or, that's a lot of information. We really want to consider it, and then we'll get back to you. Paper CMAs are nothing more than a ticket to the be-back bus. You've got to go in paperless. No more paper. I don't know if I can say that any stronger. No more paper. There's nothing you can do with a paper CMA that I can't do paperless except leave it with them when they want you to leave now. Client says, I want to think about it, I want to pray about it, I want to sleep on it, whatever it is. You've got to have to be able to overcome those objections, and leaving your CMA doesn't do it. When a client says, I want to think about it, how does leaving your CMA resolve that concern? It flat out doesn't. Okay. So let's deal with personality types for just a second. And now we're going into a listing presentation. And generally, you'll have more than one personality type, and you've got to be able to effectively communicate with the different personality types to the husband and wife. Now, if you haven't done a DISC profile, I encourage you to do that. But there's 4 basic personality types. I break them into driver, expressive, analytical, and amiable. You have to know your type, and you have to know where your comfort zone is, and then you've got to learn the other types so that you can adjust your presentation to deal with the different personality types. If you look at the DISC, it's the decisive or the driver, the interactive, the stabilizing, or the cautious. The driver is demanding. They want things done right now. They're forceful. They are determined. They're competitive. A high I is someone who's persuasive, they're enthusiastic, they're sociable, they really care about what other people think. The S's are a little bit more analytical, they're stable, they think things through, they're passive, they're compliant, they're consistent, you can rely on them. And then there's the C's, which are the perfectionists. They're going to look at your details and the data, and they're going to look at your spreadsheets, and they want to see the comps. They're the ones that will actually read your CMA and when you leave it, and they'll love your pre-listing package as well. By the way, you ought to go on to Tony Robbins' website. If you go on to TonyRobbins.com, you can click on the DISC profile, and it'll do a DISC profile. sorry, it'll do a disc profile on you and give you the ability to see where your disc profile is. I do this with everybody we hire. I do this on myself. I'm a high DI. I'm an off-the-chart DI. So let's talk about the driver. So when you know you have a driver, you can usually determine this on the phone by they want to be in control. They ask you the questions. They want to, you know, they're very to the point of what they want to accomplish. You want to make sure you're on time. Don't show up late with a high D. They don't have time for this. They're going to move on emotionally. Make sure your presentation is well prepared and organized, but you've got to get to the point quickly. If you're doing a lot of small talk with a high D, they'll give you short one-word answers, and I want you to get to your presentation. So I want to really view the home. I want to engage them in the conversation. I want to get them to open up. If I can get a high D to open up, then they become much easier to close. I really want to emphasize the results. A high Ds want to see that I get 98.9% of the ask price on 87% of my listings. They want to see that I have a plan on everything, but they don't want me to show them all the details of the plan. So what I do is lay out all the plans. I show them what we do, but I don't give them the details. All right, now the expressive. The expressives are like, okay, expressive, y'all know who I'm talking about. They don't think the party starts until they actually get there. So with the expressive, they show up and they're like, okay, what's going on? Let's get this party started, even though it's been going for an hour. Allow time for socializing with an expressive. They want you to ask them about themselves. They love talking about themselves. Focus on building a great relationship. If you like them and they like you, you'll win. Recognition is really important to them. They love video testimonials. They want to be one of your video testimonials. If that opportunity came to them, be like, oh, they'd be all over that. You want to present with enthusiasm. It's contagious to the expressive. As you present with enthusiasm, they're going to be fully engaged. You want to ask for their ideas and suggestions, and you want to support your presentation with other people like them who are raving fans, and that's huge with the expressives. Amiables. Now, here's my amiables. These are the people that are afraid of their shadow. My amiables are extremely, these are my S's. They're extremely loyal. They're the ones that if you approach them the same way you approach an expressive, they'll crawl under the table. With the expressive, it's like, Johnny, what's up? How you doing? Get over here. Give me some sugar. You know, you greet them with love and you greet them with enthusiasm. The amiable will completely back into the corner. If you do that with an amiable, you've got to talk slower to an amiable. You've got to take your time explaining the program. They will really enjoy looking through your pre-listing plan and looking at your marketing. With the amiable, if you can master the art of listening more than you talk, and you can involve them in your presentation, like, you know, as we have the stager come in, it's really important that you work with them in staging the home properly to create this unbelievable feeling the potential buyers will be able to imagine what it will be like when they move their family in. I want to talk about an amiable with the we's and our. You know, they don't like to be pressured. If you put the hard clothes on them, they're going to put up a barrier and they're not going to commit. They're easy to get along with, despite being more reserved. And the other thing is that I love about my amiables is they are loyal. They flat out have a lot of influence, and if you take good care of them, they will send you a lot of business. All right, your analyticals, your high Cs, these are your bean counters, your engineers, your accountants. They're the ones that have spreadsheets on everything. They've already determined a value. They've been on Zillow and Trulia, and they've gone through and they're working on coming up with a value. They're going to love you going live on your MLS. When you're dealing with a high analytical, I love them, by the way. I love all the personality types. With high analytical, I'll go in, I'll open up my screen, go live on the MLS, and I'll show them the comparables. Say, look, here's everything that's on the market. That's in your neighborhood. This is live. These are your active competition. Here's the ones that didn't sell. These are the ones that are expired. And here's the ones that went under contract. Based on this information, where do you think we have to price the property? And the analytical is going to say, well, I have this data on Zillow. And I'll say, well, here's why we don't use Zillow. MLS is real data. Zillow is not always as accurate. And then we'll go back and forth with an intelligent analytical discussion. They love the pre-listing package as a written proposal. They're slow to decide because they have to make sure they make the right decision. They don't want to decide right now. I have found, though, by having all the information right there, an analytical will make the decision. They'll take time reading every document, so you've got to give them time to do that. They like to touch the document. They're not as likely to just initial your iPad, So I have copies of my real estate purchase agreement or my listing agreement in my bag. And so if I've got a high analytical, I'll give them time to review that. While I walk through the wife, we talk about some staging issues or some things they have to do to get the house ready. I give the analytical the time to really consider and read through things. I don't put a lot of pressure on them. And at the end, we get the same one-call close. All right, so now we're dealing with, we've got a sales cycle. We know that we're going to be paperless. It's time to stop giving out the tickets to the be-back bus, and it's time to really use the technology. Here are some of the tools that I use in a paperless listing. I use my laptop, computer, your notebook. You want to use a wireless internet card. I've got to be able to get online, regardless of whether that client has Wi-Fi, and so I use a little card. Mine's by a company called Clear. You want to have a projector. By the way, that's my exact projector. It's about half the page of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. They're $4.99. I saw a new one at Brookstone the other day. It was like $299. That fits in your shirt pocket. I didn't think it was quite bright enough, or if it is bright enough, it gets really hot because there's no fan, and so you just play with those. You want to have a method to print, so I want to be able to email the client. They can print from their computer, or I want to be able to scan and print from an actual document. I want a digital camera to deal with condition issues. I go into PowerPoint or whatever you're using, and then I use the marketing library. It's a complete templates for PowerPoint templates for creating a listing presentation, and it's got a bunch of other marketing stuff in there that I show as well. Okay, so here's a few tips for a paperless presentation. Number one, go in advance and make sure you're prepared. Number two, customize the front of your PowerPoint if you're using PowerPoint with a picture of the home and address so they know that you've prepared this for them. You should not have more than 10 to 15 slides. Oftentimes, I never go into a presentation. They've seen my pre-listing package, and I'll simply ask the question, do you have any questions on that note? Are you comfortable using me as an agent? Yep. Don't do a presentation, just do a contract. So I have it, I'm prepared, I can do it, but oftentimes I don't even use it. Show your marketing strategy, deal with condition issues, demonstrate your OBO virtual tour. I'll go into buyer acquire, and I'll show that when somebody calls the sign writer and they put their number in, it automatically gives me a text message. I actually will demonstrate that from their home, and they can see my phone ring with their caller ID, and that's really impressive to our sellers. I go through the pricing exercise, and then I get the MLS properties are sold, seller's net sheet. I get agreement on pricing. We fill out the document, and we're done. Marketing strategies. I like to show things that are already done. So I'll give examples of just listed, just sold, cards that go out to the top 100 agents. Here's the card that we send out to the client's Christmas card list that we send out there. Just sold cards. Our new address, as I provide that as a service to the seller. Now, with the seller, I get their Christmas card list, and I do it just a change of address cards. I talked about that on the last call, so I won't go into detail. Now, let's get to the house. I walk in the door. I greet them with enthusiasm, and I do the BRT. Then I walk the home, and I view the property. I ask them what they love about their home because I want to fall in love with those things too. Also, look at anything that needs to be replaced or repaired. I'll take a note of it, and I'll take a picture of it. And then I act as if I'm the buyer's agent walking to the client's home, and they're thinking about buying the house, and then I tie down. If it's a short sale, it's a completely different environment. I won't give you a lot of details here, but I turn off the TV. I tell them to put the dog in the bathroom, have both parties at the table. I plug in my projector. I make sure I have it connected, and I go right through the process and get them to start signing documents. There's only 3 things that I show in a listing presentation. I show MLS comps live, I show the OBO virtual tour syndication, and I do my wheel pricing. I close for the appointment, and I deal with condition issues. Now, I'm giving you a lot of information in a short period of time, and I'm sure you'll have questions. I'll pause here in a minute and take your questions. Now, when it's time to go live on the MLS, I show sold properties. Sometimes I might have to go back 12 months to find any that have sold. I show all the expired inventory in the neighborhood. I show actives. I look at days on the market, price per square foot, tours on well-marketed properties. I look at photos on pricing on properties that expired. I'll show it just like this. Here's my solds, here's my expireds, here's my actives. I'll give you the numbers based on this information. Where do you think we need to be? It's not rocket science, folks. You give them the data, and you ask them, based on these numbers and what you see, where do you feel we need to be? They always pick the high one. Now, I don't think I've ever showed you this before. I'm going to show you one of the most impressive ways to never lose a listing over price that I've ever seen. I got this from one of my top 5 in real estate advisory council members. His name's Sam Miller. Sam Miller is a rock star. He lists over 300 houses a year personally. So he goes on 300 listing appointments. Sam says you write the numbers on a clock. Look, you grab a piece of paper, write it down. You have 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2. You do 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9, and noon, right? So you got 4 numbers on there. Everybody wants to have the highest price in the shortest amount of time, and Sam will say something like this. I've shown you the comparables. Based on where you are from a time perspective, where do you think we need to be? If they give you a number that's high, you write it on the 12. Say, that's great if we're going to do a 12-month listing and you have 12 months to move. It's a price war and a beauty contest, and you have to win both. Your house is in phenomenal shape. Now we have to win the price war. If you want it to sell in the first 90 days, we've got to come a little bit below your competition, and I write 279 at the 3. If you feel like you really want to push the numbers to 289, we're going to do a 6-month listing. If you do a 299, we're going to do a 9-month listing. And of course, at 319, we're going to do a 12-month listing. The client will say, wow, I really wanted to get it sold at the higher price in a shorter amount of time. And the reality is, you can't. The buyers have told us they're not willing to pay that now. By waiting 12 months, the market may catch up to the price that you need out of your home. What happens if you don't get your price? Well, if I don't get my price, I can't move. And if you can't move, can you take that job in Ohio? No, I can't. So is it worth the 20 grand to have it be a 9-month listing, or do you want to list it right now and just get it off the market and sold in the next 90 days? That dialogue and this clock pricing gives such great clarity to the way you price a home. I don't know if you all are understanding this, but it's critical. The next thing that we do, and by the way, this is really important. Prior to going on the listing, whoever takes the listing call should get the seller's expectation. You should ask the question, how much do you think your house is worth? They're going to say, well, that's why I want Kelly to come out. That's why I want Jordan to come out. That's why I need you to come out, Bruce, because I really don't know the value. And then I want whoever's taking the appointment to say, well, were you thinking 200,000, 250, 300, 350, 4, no, 400, 450, 5, 550? Oh, no, not that much. Oh, 450? No. Oh, so around 400? No, we were hoping it was around like 380. Bam, now I got my number. I always want the number prior to going in because I want to know if the seller is smoking crack on price, because it changes the way and the amount of time that I spend on my comparable listings. Okay, so now I know my client's expectations. If they have completely unrealistic expectations, I'm not going. You're not even going to see me show up there. Okay, so we set expectations. I know where their price strategy is. We do the clock pricing. This clock pricing is a flat-out gold mine when you start using it. When you do the clock, you say, based on this information, where do you think we should price the home? I think we need to be at $299. All right, let's do it there. I take out my paperwork and I start filling it in. There's no close. It's just the next natural step to a job well done. And I think this sometimes is where a lot of salespeople get stressed out, is they get to a point where they feel like they need to close. I assume they're listing with me. When I go in the home, I have my paperwork, I have my lockbox, I open the shackle, I've got it ready to go. My signs are leaning up on the front door. When we get to the point where we're getting the house on the market, I'm doing the pricing discussion. I don't ask them, so is that the way you want to go then? What I say is, where do you want to be price-wise? They say 219. I grab my listing form out, my MLS listing entry form, and I put in 219. I said, I'm going to need you okay on a few documents. Are you okay with me having a key for the key box? Yeah, great. I need your initial here. Okay? And then I go down and write down all my listings, presentation stuff, and I fill out the form. It's an order blank close. Now, you're going to get to the point. The other thing when you do with your documents, I always have pre-printed in there the commission. I always have I always have check marks by the boxes that I want to be pre-checked. For example, whether they shall or they may do arbitration. I always say shall. I want to do arbitration instead of getting sued by anybody. So I want to make sure that I put things in there that are a standard. I will also print a transaction fee, a $295 transaction or marketing fee. I have that pre-printed on my forms, and they see that they have to pay that. I want everything pre-done. So all we have to do is fill out the name, fill out their price, get their okay and initials on all the pages, and the thing is done. So any questions about the paperless listing? Let me pause for just a second before I get into overcoming objections and resolving concerns. If you have a question, just either raise your hand or you can type your question in. Let me pause for a minute and let's jump in. How many of you love the idea of the paperless listing? Going in and just doing everything on your laptop with a projector, shining it up on the white wall. Do you like that? You can raise your hands. I'm not going to call on you. I'm going to ask you if you have a question to type it in. How many of you are scared to death of going paperless, like genuinely, sincerely afraid to show up without a paper CMA? I haven't done a paper CMA in probably 10 years. It's been that long. I don't even remember how to do it or why you do it. Paper CMAs, tickets to the BBAC bus. And I want to send a really clear message. I truly am technology savvy and can market your house in today's technology world. Okay, I don't see any questions being typed in. You guys are on it today. You guys are quiet today. All right, so let's talk about objections. When you get an objection, hang on, there might be some questions here. Okay, a couple questions. Jordan and Kelly say, what about technical issues? Do you ever have technical issues? Yep. Generally what will happen with a technical issue is I can't get online, or I'm trying to think of technical. I really haven't had any big technical issues. I can't find a wall to shine my projector on. You can shine it on a flat screen TV and it looks really good, so I shine it on a big screen TV. Other technical issues, let me think about this for a second. God, I really haven't had any. I've had a time where my computer completely froze and I couldn't get anything on it. And so I just opened up my client's computer, went live on the MLS, went live on OBO, logged into my account, did everything on their computer. So, you know, my plan B is as long as somebody has a computer that works, I can do my presentation. And most of the time, I don't even go into any kind of a formal presentation. I just show MLS comps, I show OBO, I do a buyer-acquire deal, and I do the clock pricing, and we take out the paperwork and get it done. Oftentimes we way overthink the listing process. You do want to blow them away with your marketing and what you're going to do for them, because that makes a difference, but don't overthink it. Good questions. Okay, that's it. All right. You guys are just ready to go. Should we deal with some objections? Another agent said they could do it for less. Another agent said could sell my house for more. Look, when someone says another agent said they could sell my house for more, I love this one. You know what I respond with? I say, you know what? I thought so too. And then I ran the numbers. And here I am live on the MLS, and here's all the houses in your neighborhood that have sold the last 30 and 60 days. Based on this information, where do you think they're getting their data? I'm wondering if maybe they don't have access to the MLS. No, they did. Yeah, well, here's everything live. And so if there's anything that adjusts a higher price, then why isn't it coming up here? You know, that's how we do it. I hear this one. Can we try it at the higher price for a little while and see what happens? How do you overcome that? Well, the shoes still felt found. Oh, Mary, I completely understand how you feel. I've got a lot of clients that felt the same way. They wanted to put it on the higher market because they felt the market was changing. What they found is that with the house being overpriced, real estate agents knowing it's overpriced won't show the property, and it'll end up sitting on the house longer. Buyers are going to start to wonder what's wrong with your house because it's been on the market so long, and eventually we're going to have to reduce the price lower than where we are today because they'll think there's a stigma attached to the property. Are you sure that's the way you want to go? What happens if we try and sell it ourselves? Love that one. Well, you can totally help. You can totally sell it yourself. As a matter of fact, I'll even help you in the process. But here's what I found with people that sell it themselves. 85% more likely to get sued because they don't know how to represent themselves in a transaction, and they end up selling their house for 15% less than houses listed with a realtor because you eliminate a huge chunk of the buyer pool that's out there. But at least you could say you did it yourself. Are you sure that's the way you want to go? Wow, you said 6%. I have a friend that's going to sell my house for 4%. Well, you totally have that option to pay 4%, but here's what I found. I found that if I only offer 2% to a buyer's agent, it eliminates the number of buyers that show the property, and I've also found that I don't have enough resources to be able to effectively market it. So by having the resources to effectively market your property, I'm able to create more frenzy around the property, get more offers on the property, and eventually sell your house for a higher dollar. Is it more important for you to sell your house for more money or to have a lower commission? Do you see how I'm answering the question, then asking another question? You always want to do answer and ask. You always end with an ask because it puts you in a control situation. Remember, I talked about increasing your value. If somebody else is willing to do it for less, that means you haven't done a good job of increasing your value and showing what you're really worth. Increase your value, don't decrease your price. The next thing is show your online marketing. Really blow them away with all the places you're going to put their website, what it looks like. I go right in back of line of my OBO stats and show them what that looks like. Listing syndication, all the websites that it goes to and how we track all the traffic that comes from these different websites. By the way, clients love this. And as part of my assumptive close, I'll say to my client, I want to make sure I get this to you every week. So every week I'm going to send you an email that shows all the statistics on your property. What email address do you want me to use to set that up? And I'll go right in my back office of OBO, put their email address in, and set it up. The bottom line is they should already be sold on you. You tie them down. You ask them to, as you view the property, you take conditions as the condition issues. When you've got a commitment, they're ready to go forward, then you say, here's a few things that need to be fixed. And I bring up a picture of the cracked wall. I bring up a picture of the rust in the toilet. Or I bring a picture of the wall plates that are falling off. And I just look at the picture, and then I look at my client. And then I look at the picture, and I look back at the client. And I just nod my head. The client says, you think we should fix that? And I smile, and I use Floyd Wickman's dialogue and simply say, I would. All right. Then I review the seller's homework. I go through any questions that I have, and I say, you guys comfortable moving forward? They go, yep. And I say, okay. Sometimes I like to personalize it, and I'll say something like, are you comfortable using me as your agent? Because if they say no to that, it becomes very personal. People don't like to say no to that. And then the next natural step is to complete the paperwork. I need you okay in a few documents, and we'll get it done. You got to shut up and close. Watch their buyer language. When they're done, they're ready to list, they're done. But you got to stop talking and close. I think you should be closing through the entire presentation, and as soon as they get the indicator they're ready to go, shut up. Sit down, fill out the paperwork. Okay, here's a question. Gosh, I got to put my glasses on. Do you print out the listing paperwork, or do you have them sign in DocuSign? I've done DocuSign, and you can do DocuSign. I've got a lot of agents that love DocuSign. Me personally, I like the paper. I like the paper contract because it just feels real when you're signing it. But, I could be swayed either way. I've done it both ways, and I've gone back to liking paper for just the contract part of it. I like the touching feeling, holding it in your hand. It's kind of like the puppy dog close. I can hand them the paperwork. I can say, I need your initials in these 5 places. And there's an emotional thing that happens when you do that gets them to commit. So for me, I like having the paper. But, a lot of agents that do a lot more listings than I do, they're completely paperless. They do it on their iPad or they do it on their tablet. Okay, paperless listing presentation. We went with pre-list last week. Now we're going paperless. Time for any questions that you have. Go ahead and ask any questions. Then I'm going to give you your assignments for this week, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's take a minute and open up the call to any questions that you have, any topic. Just fire them off. It's time to go. All right, I already answered that one. No question there. I turned on a new lead source this week on Monday just to see how, how it really worked. This is, by the way, this is not one of the cheap systems that's out there. I turned on a program called Commissions Inc. If you haven't seen this, you should check it out. Let me show you what we've done. Whoops. So this shows you, I turned this on, it turned on Monday. Since Monday, I have 10 leads that have come in. There's all the data on it. We picked up 1 buyer. Jerry's working it. Submit a new buyer inquiry. I'm interested in learning more about this property. Here's the MLS number and profile, and we'll be right on it. So in just 2 days, we've generated over 10 leads. doing a really great web strategy. Now, the cost of the program that I'm using with Commissions Inc. is $1,500 a month for the platform, and then I'm spending $500 a month in pay-per-click. So my goal is to ramp it up, create more leads for my buyer's agents, and turn them loose. And I expect to generate, somewhere between 150 and 200 leads a month for these buyer's agents, and we'll have, I'm sure we'll get 3 to 5% closing ratio. There's a lot of good strategies out there. I'm a big systems guy, whatever you use. By the way, it's a proprietary system, and so they won't turn on more than one agent in a market. I've got other companies that do the same thing. If you're ready to turn on high-volume lead generation, send me an inquiry, and I'll tell you who I would use. I use companies like Boomtown, Tiger Leads, Agent Jet. There's a brand new one coming on the market that we're testing as well. And you want to be the first to market when these new things come out, because they generate an enormous number of leads, both buyer and seller leads. So focus on your systems, focus on your lead generation. I'm looking for any questions. Nobody's got questions. Jordan and Kelly, you're raising your hand. Did you have a question? Okay. He said no. Who else is raising their hand? Nobody. Lisa, you want to ask me about Market Leader? Well, let's talk about it. Let me unmute you and let's just discuss it rather than have me just tell you what I think. Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Wonderful.
What version of Market Leader do you have, and what level are you buying?
Actually, I don't have it. I just keep getting calls from them, and it just seems like it might be good in our market here in the Salt Lake area.
Yeah, I would turn on Real Pro System before I would turn on Market Leader.
And you said it's Real Pro?
Yeah, I showed you that one in session 4, I think.
Okay, I'll go back and review session 4.
Yeah, Market Leader is I've got some clients that do really well with it, but they spend an enormous amount of money, and they are a selling machine. So once you get in with them, everything is an upsell, and they have a ton of stuff they upsell you into, and you end up spending a lot of money to actually make it work than you thought you would going in. And so I don't like that culture.
Okay.
But I've got some clients that do pretty well with it. Market Leader is what drives a lot of Keller Williams agents.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll go back and review session 4. I'm just putting together my 2014 business plan and marketing budget. So.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Okay.
I think that's phenomenal. Everyone should be going back and looking at their marketing budget and looking at their 2014 business plan. And you should all be incorporating into your budget private coaching, because as you graduate from this group, we want to move you into private consulting and really help you take it to the next level. And there's some amazing things that are happening. So make sure you reach out to us and let us know that you want us to work with you on a one-on-one basis. Okay, any other questions before we wrap it up? All right, you guys always have lots of questions. You guys are really quiet today. Maybe it's deep. Okay, this is off topic, but wondering about setting up an LLC. Okay, let's unmute. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Jordan, tell me your question.
Well, just going into the new year, Kelly.
Oh, hi, Kelly.
We're kind of wondering about, setting up an LLC. There's, lots of options there for our business, and wondering if you have any advice on that or experience.
How are you set up now?
Nothing.
You're just a couple people out selling real estate?
Yeah.
You're sole proprietors.
Sole proprietors, exactly.
So I would definitely set up a business structure. You're either going to be, your choices are to be an S corporation, a C corporation, or an LLC.
Okay.
For me, it made the most sense to be an LLC. It's a separate entity that I don't get double taxed in. So a limited liability corporation prevented me from getting double taxed and gave me an increased protection. But you want to talk to, I've got a really good CPA. You want to talk to your CPA about how to structure your business from a tax perspective. Attorneys will like to give you advice from a legal perspective, but for me, the big thing was I didn't want to pay extra taxes because of the way I structured my business.
Okay.
But you should definitely have a structure that operates independent of your sole proprietorship.
Yeah, that's what we decided today as we were kind of applying for a business credit card, and I asked what our business was, and we're going, oh, well,
sole proprietor.
we set that up, so yeah.
Yeah, just get good advice. Do you have a good accountant?
Yeah, we do now, so we'll go to him. I just thought I'd ask quickly because I know different agents in my office have done the S-Corp thing, and so I didn't know if you had a particular experience.
Yeah, I would definitely talk to a, to an attorney or to a CPA regarding your tax issues. I can't certainly give you the advice. I just tell you what I did.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a full disclosure agent, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. All right, thanks, Paul. Any other questions from anybody before we wrap this up today? I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to get on a plane. I'm headed to Wisconsin to go see my friends in Wisconsin at the First Weber Group. We're going to have a 2-day boot camp, and we are going to kick some butt. Everybody, thanks for your enthusiasm and participation on the calls. Get your assignments in, do your paperless presentation, and I'll talk to you all in a couple weeks. It's going to be quite a ride. Thanks, everybody.